You're now sitting at the Wavetable.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Wavetable after a bit of a hiatus over the Christmas break and into January, but I'm getting back into it now, and this is the first episode back, and we're joined by Garth Jones, who is the owner of the Monsoon season blog. Garth, how's it going, dude?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. It's great to have you here, and yeah, thanks for like all the coverage for me and all the local Aussie boys here in Australia. I really appreciate what you're doing for the upcoming dubstep and bass music producers.
Yeah, man, it's all in a day's work. I feel like you guys have done an exceedingly well job, so it was only fitting to, put where the proof was in the pudding. So you're very welcome.
Hell yeah. So what was it that first made you want to start this blog?
So my mom is actually a pretty well-known blogger in her industry. And me seeing her kind of elevate and ascend through her journey, it kind of inspired me and made me realize, like, hey, I can apply these same experiences that I'm seeing before me, but in an electronic dance music niche. And so that's really kind of where it started. And maybe 2 years prior to the actual launch of Monsoon season, I had actually started Monsoon season my first semester in college, but it was just so cringe. It was just like, I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, Mom, I'm going to copy what you're doing. So school got busy. Things got a little, kooky after that. So I just walked away from it. And up until recently, March of 2020, I brought it back up and I never looked back.
Hell yeah. So how long ago was it that you first started it?
I would say it was, so I started in 2020, so I would say maybe 2017, 2018.
Okay.
I was interviewing some artists and putting it online, and like I said, it was just cringe, so
Fair enough.
I was just excited.
I feel that, like, I've done things in the past that are completely cringe, and like pretty much the only person that knows about them now is my girlfriend.
Yeah.
So
people who you like.
Yeah. What was your mum blogging about, out of curiosity? If it's not like taboo or something.
So my mom doesn't blog anything about too crazy, but she does like holistic living, herbs, medicines, cool. Essential oils, that kind of thing.
Awesome. And yeah, so you just like kind of...
Yeah, it's called Good Witch's Homestead. Shout out, Mom.
Good Witch's Homestead. And then was she like helping you out with your blog, or did you kind of just go off and do your own thing? Yes.
So back in the day, I did not accept any help. So I feel like that's maybe where the cringe came from. Up until recently, when I had started it in January of 2020 so that I could launch in March, I had asked my mom, I was like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? And she helped a lot. And subsequent to that, I just kind of took the reins. I was like, okay, I understand A, B, and C. It's time to learn the rest of the alphabet on your own.
Hell yeah, man. That's the way to go. Like, it's so much easier to like get things like progressing on a steady, like the right track if you just accept at least some help when you're starting out. Because too many people are like rebellious and they're like, oh, I'm going to do this all on my own. But like, you need to like at least have somewhat of like an industry standard or some kind of standard to be set right from the get-go.
Exactly. Yeah, a framework is great to start with, and then let your creativity do the rest of the work. Stand out, be unique, but don't cut your own path. Leave that to pioneers and things of that nature. There's no need to start something new. There's a perfectly well-designed structure already in place.
Yeah. To relate this back to music, God, I really wish I would at least have copied the arrangements of songs when I first started out, because I've got songs that have like 128 bar drops. And it's ridiculous. It's just random noises, melodies all over the place, overlapping on top of each other. If I had like a mentor, like someone like your mum to your blog was helping me with my music in the first place, that would have done so much for me.
Yeah, it's a shame to see the rebelliousness in some people and where it takes them.
Oh shit. So how did you first come up with the name Monsoon Season?
Oh, that's a good question, and I'm always so happy to answer this question when people ask me. So let's take a trip into yesteryear, shall we? When I was a child, me and my 3 other siblings, and my parents, obviously, we were rambunctious children on our own. But we grew up in Arizona. And Arizona is an arid, dry, and it's very well known for their monsoon season. And it's a storm. Yeah, so it's a storm that travels up through, I want to say Mexico, wherever it may start. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, please. But anyways, there was this day, and I was a teenager skateboarding, listening to like pop punk, fucking studded belts, the whole 9 yards. This is probably like 2008, right? I'm walking to one of my friends' house in about 3 miles from Mexico, and it was in the middle of monsoon season. And as we're walking, we can see the purple clouds. It's super dark. There's a lot of moisture being carried along in these tropospheric, movements of moisture. It's just beautiful. But anyways, this strike of lightning hits so close to us that it lights up night like day.
Damn.
Like, as you look around, you can perfectly see everything around you. You're like, wow, like this is actually a phenomena. This is a true act of God. And from that moment, I think forward, I was always imprinted and resonated with the idea of that storm front. So as I kind of carried through life, I would play Pokemon. I would play all these different video games, and I would just kind of nickname them things like Monsoon Season and, really cool, iconic things like that. So it just kind of carried through life. And when it came to deciding the name for the blog, I was like, well, I don't want to go like some cliche name like, EDM this. I'm not saying that they're cliche, just in my certain creative direction, I didn't want to go that way. So Monsoon Season, it was.
As soon as you said the lightning hit, I was like, okay, that's the logo.
Yeah, so it just perfectly worked out. It was a very inspiring moment in my childhood, and I feel like it was definitely imminent to pay homage to that moment.
That's awesome. Yeah, I always love referencing things back from like childhood and teenage years because they hold like so much weight in the heart,
Yeah, it really does. It just allowed me to remember I was human in that moment.
So I know that like when you first started the blog, you stopped because it was like you thought it was cringe and stuff. But when you recently restarted, were there any like unexpected troubles or anything when you were getting it up and running?
Yeah, okay, I could probably dial in some and bring them to light. So maybe the first one would have been procrastination. I was definitely too cocky at first because I felt like I knew what I was doing from before. I felt like I knew what I was doing with my mom's directives. And so I was going to start the blog off with 4 dynamic interviews of people who I felt like were changing their region. And I'd waited till the last minute to type all 4 interviews. And come launch day, I'm running the clock down to the minute. And I'm just frustrated. And I feel like that would be one trouble I ran into upon launching. And then secondly would be me thinking I knew the industry as well as I did.
Right.
I was sending cold emails left and right with no real structure. It was more of like a super fan reaching out to their favorite artist, and I had, like I said, I had no real format and no real structure to these emails. So it was just, I was lucky to get the ones to sign on that did, but I feel like complacency and procrastination were two things I definitely ran into.
Hell yeah. I think a lot of people can definitely take that on board and try to improve themselves, because procrastination is a huge one. But like at the end of the day, like even if you don't get as far as you wanted to, as long as you start it, like not last minute, just don't start things last minute. That's the main thing to take away from this.
Yeah, no, that's completely right. Get your ducks in a row. Don't count them before they hatch, as those eggs go. Anticipate the worst, hope for the best, and just keep a smile on your face, really. Like, what a lot of people don't understand is that just because you're not getting the notifications, not because you're just not getting the plays and you're not getting these tangible virtual results, doesn't mean that you're not putting in work, and it doesn't mean that you're not really getting attention. I've noticed within my hundreds and hundreds of articles that we've written so far that you'll only see about 10%, if not 20%, of the results of 80% of the work that you do. And it's just a fact of nature. Whether it's social media anxiety that your viewers have, whether they don't want to press that like button, whether they don't want to comment, whether they don't want to share. And it's a very real thing. Social media anxiety, we need to normalize this in 2021, that it is okay to hit the share button. Fucking A.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot. It kind of reminds me of the Shizo episode, or no, the Insco episode, where we were talking about how people don't press follow on Spotify. And this is a similar thing. Like, if you're following someone on social media, then that means you want to see their posts, right? And like, okay, on one hand, liking and sharing is great because it lets more people know about the person or the artist or the blog or whatever. But also, the more you like and share something, the more you will see from that person, because, you know, the way social media feeds work, they can't just show you everything. There's just too much stuff. So you got to, like, you're actually curating what you see when you press like.
Yes. I had a great example of this today. And I thought it was kind of comical. I had never spoken to this kid. I have him friended on Facebook, never spoken to him. I like his project that he does. But I just hadn't had the opportunity to really show my support. But today, I couldn't remember if it was funny or just support that I was giving him. But I commented on one of his things. And I had closed out the app, sent it above, you know, done gone with it, right? And the first thing, I kid you not, that I open up on Facebook is another one of that kid's posts. I was like, what is oh?
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that algorithmic things that they do work. So in a nutshell, I would say don't be afraid to hit the like button, because you're doing minimal support, but it's so something. So I had put this out on Twitter last night. 1% is everything when you started with 0. So whether it is a small tap at the rock, like these little small nudges at support are monumental in the collective totality of it. Anyways, it just goes to show that there is an algorithm in place on social media, and there's really no reason to be nervous to support your friends. Yeah.
I'd say like probably the only reason, or the only time I'm ever nervous to like things is when it's like not safe for work art that people post and stuff. But even then, I'm just like, fuck it, I'll click like anyway. Yo, welcome back everyone to the Wavetable. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties and had to reschedule for the next day. But on the plus side, I'm wearing my Astroreign shirt now. So shameless self-promo.
Yeah, dude. No, yeah, totally okay. Because, like, guess what? We're the first podcast back from your series, and it starts off with a bang because, you know, here at Monsoon season, we've been supporting Astroreign, and amongst other things, we have a lot to talk about. So it's not like we're doing anybody injustice. What we're doing is just encapsulating information for you guys. So if you can just sit tight real fast, we can get you up to speed with a lot of the information that we have banked up.
Hell yeah. And on theme with Monsoon season starting off with a bang.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, we're not here to settle anybody's shorts. So if you have problems with epilepsy or any sort of flash movement, just be prepared because Monsoon season is about to enter a whole new phase.
Let's dive right back into like what we were talking about. Let's get back on track with that. I was wondering, what made you want to focus on rising talent rather than just covering the big names?
I saw a saturated market, and you know, me myself as a growing entrepreneur, I just kind of I didn't want to be a trendsetter. I wanted to be a disruptor. I wanted to be somebody who would necessarily put somebody, just stop them in their tracks. So what, with my intentions for that was just like, oh, you know, like everybody's doing the same thing. So like, let's just make sure that Monsoon season is the next cutting appearance, contemporary value. So that's where I sat with it.
That's awesome. And yeah, like I said earlier, I believe I really respect the fact that you are trying to elevate those who, you know, need a platform. They're putting in the work to get their stuff to a high quality, but they're just not getting it seen by enough people yet.
Which was actually the foundational basis. So I realized that there was no, I guess the word is subsidiary, like, or necessarily like a tributary. Like there wasn't any like middle ground for artists. Like it was either you suck or you're good.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, wait a minute, that's not cool. So I felt like if I inserted a value to where like artists could get their tracks, their art, their necessarily just their whole message out to the greater brand of the world, I felt like if I could step in and do that, that would just be such a justice to myself. So I feel like that's where I branched off from the differentiation from headliner to subliner.
So I noticed you're currently on a WordPress site, which it's definitely getting the job done. But I was wondering if you have any plans to like get a custom website made at some point.
Yeah, so WordPress has actually supported us for a good long time. They've been very, given the amount of media we've given them. So they've supported us through and through. I mean, I've heard of bigger website branches like Wix or, you know, something of those nature. But like at this time, WordPress is really just giving us the platform that we need. The reason why I chose them is because my mom, she chose WordPress at an early site with Good Witches and Crooked Bear Creek, which will supply in the comment section below. Shout out, Mom. But yeah, WordPress has done nothing but, you know, it's really supported us from thick until thin. So I don't see why any other aspiring blogger couldn't, you know, make those connections. So if WordPress is your thing, we have it already in our footer. So, you know, just make those connections. WordPress is probably your site.
Cool. Yeah, that's really good to know that you can just throw all of these articles, all of these embeds at WordPress and it'll just take it on the chin.
Yeah, no, literally, it's great because they have so many different formats that I work off of, and they also have plugins and tools and everything to make your publication needs met.
Hell yeah. So I know earlier you said that you were essentially like cold emailing people, but I know that now as the blog has started to develop, there's definitely people who are actually coming to you with requests for coverage. And I was curious, like, how long did it take? Like, how long was the site up and running before people came to you?
Yeah. Oh, wow. What a good question. So within reason, within me being bashful, I would say 6 months. I really started to invest myself into contributing to really good content. So not necessarily like, hey, here's your link, hey, here's your track, here's your artwork, here's your X, Y, and Z kind of thing. I was like, hey, how can we divulge from the rest of the content world and really add in our own supplement value? And so what we started to do was just do analytical process. And so analytical process, that means like anything that comes to mind comes to paper. And that really is what glided me through my college career as a 4.0 student. So my English professor, in theory, I wrote an essay, I think, on EDC Las Vegas. And she thought it was so good that she was like, hey, this is the classroom standard.
Damn.
And I was like, yeah, right? So I was like, okay, so if this is the classroom standard, like, why can't I build a processes off of this?
For sure.
That thereof, so Monsoon season grew. So I guess that's the premise, the birthstone.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Do you like to build relationships with the artists you cover? Like, do you like to, add them on Facebook and have a conversation with them first? Or is it pretty much just like, as long as the music is good, then you're going to write an article?
Yeah. So, I mean, going back to the last question, how like the initial process started. So like, given that my English professor was definitely an asset to that process, so it was more of like a fire at will. So at those processes at the beginning, it was like, hey, if you have a story, let's cover it. Like as a news channel would. Let's say in the moment, a tornado is happening and you need somebody on the process, like in that moment. Like, so that's where Monsoon season is really trying to grow its facetiousness. So if you have a track, I want to cover it.
That's awesome. Yeah, there'll definitely be like your email and that kind of stuff in the description so people can submit tracks. So get to it, producers. And you're looking for DJ mixers as well, right?
I mean, no.
Okay.
I don't mean that negatively because all of our guest mixes are handpicked.
Right.
We'll reach out to you, but I mean, as far as a submission rate goes, our full submission email goes out at February 1st, and you can reach me at Garth at monsoonseasonus.com. And this is probably going to be an early little shout out to you guys. But if you guys want to get exclusively released on our platform, that's more than welcome because we're going to do it February 1st. And if you need to rewind that, that's Garth at monsoonseasonus.com. I think Astroreign here has a couple more identifying hints as to what we're going to do in March.
Yeah, we might talk about that.
No, actually, it's not even March. It's February.
Oh, yeah, true. I've got... let's dive into that towards the end of the episode.
Keep on with your questions, and then we'll dive into that. No, it's so exciting because, like, I'm just like bursting at the seams, just ready just to tell people. But we're gonna. All right, so continue on.
So yeah, I had noticed lately you've been recruiting quite a few creative writers to help with the articles. One of them being my friend Hamish, aka Drea. Do you mind if I ask how many people are on the Monsoon season team now?
Yeah. Oh, I would love to give them a shout out. All right, so let's go team wise, and then let's go branch off. So team wise, we have an elitist branch of writers. So starting off at the top, I mean, I'm the main editor, so don't pay any attention to me. We have Travis Bisbee, who's actually a co-writer for, or not a co-writer, but a co-owner of DEATHSTAR Cult. We'll have his information in the thing. We have Zachary Sharabii. We have Tate. We have a girl from Twitter who is so good. Her name is Sarahi. And she's just been nothing but greatness. So she's got us a lot of local talent out of Los Angeles.
Cool.
So she's got us Koopas. She's got us fucking Milkman. She's got us all this crazy talent out of Los Angeles. So shout out to Sarahi, or Sarahi, or however you say it. She's been nothing. She has been nothing but a blessing. But closing in on, we also have Prometheus. I don't want to shout out all of our artists. I can definitely give them in the thing because I'm not going to stutter on them. But what I can add to the value is that if you want to apply for Monsoon season, it's going to be a thick spring section. But if you want to cut your edge on in, our link is going to be in the bio section, and it's always there. Always there. If you want to apply, send your friends those links. It's always going to be in the bio section of the Monsoon season Instagram. So definitely. Before festival season cuts in, I have a lot of different opportunities for writers. So let's make it happen.
That's awesome. I was actually thinking about talking to you about being a writer, but I'm not sure if my schedule would allow it at the moment.
And you never know.
Yeah. Maybe in the future, so we'll see. And I was wondering, like, was there a specific reason why you started bringing more people onto the team? Was it so there's like more different creative styles, or just too much work to be done? Or what was the reason for that?
Okay, so I mean, in a nutshell, it was too much work.
Yeah,
it was. We were getting submissions by the hour.
Jeez.
It was it was very humbling. And we were getting submissions so fast that like I had to so like if I could just dive in real quick, I had to open my laptop and just start getting to work. Like as soon as I got off my 9 to 5, I knew just instantaneously like where my day was headed. And then it just kind of dived into a daily routine. Yeah. And just that thereof, it just began the process of shell shock, and which we will grow into here momentarily, correct?
Yeah, so we can actually dive into that right now if you want.
Yeah, of course. So shell shock is actually going to be one of the most unique and iconic things that EDM has ever seen. And I don't mean that substantially, because what I know is that Monsoon season is that it's a magnetic force.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's something that, kids, aspiring artists, their family, and their supporters can actually attach to. It's so hard to describe it because I'm the editor of it. So, I mean, all these people listening, please don't judge me. But the thing is, like, shell shock is what it is down to a nutshell. Is what I'm trying to do is be a personal publicist for all these artists. Being a publicist, I mean, in a nutshell, is like if these additional artists need artwork, editorial work, article work, definitely attainable asset to these artists. So what Shell Shock is going to be is one of the first and most iconic asset firms to the artist industry. So March 20th is what you can expect, and Astroreign is probably one of the most iconic individuals on this artist team. So, you just quiet down. So just Benzos, Side Trucks, Trip Hazard, Toast, Exit Wound. These are some of those exclusive artists that you can expect to see on that platform.
Hell yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes and see where it takes everyone on board. So looking forward to it for sure. There's also another big, exciting announcement drawing us towards the end of the podcast.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to go ahead and bring some light to this thing that I am partaking in?
I know that a lot of your viewers are probably just drowning at the exciting news that Monsoon season has.
Yeah. Like right from the start of this podcast, it's just been like announcement after announcement after announcement.
Well, the thing is like, I mean, I'm glad to be of assistance, but hey, all right, so we'll just dive right in, okay?
Hell yeah.
So Monsoon season, obviously being at the forefront of representation for the rising talent that there is. So what we're going to do this February, starting February 1st, is launch a whole new start of a guest mix series. And this guest mix series is going to be cyberpunk themed. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag and drop all of your jaw lines into a pixelated form to where you're just puking at the mouth. Just puking, like literally puking at the mouth for just more content, okay? So what we have starting you out as is Dashi. Dashi being a Canadian-based artist who is at the forefront of G-House, maybe garage bass if you want to conclude it. So he's going to get you up to speed with a good old sensational amount of bass house and garage UK-based forefronted music. So secondary, we have our genuine host, Astroreign. So he's going to get you started with electro house. Let's get a little experimental with some bass house. And he probably has some dubstep, if not rhythm values, just ready to rip shock you just into the new year. Thirdly, we have Riptide, who actually supplied us with merch this year. He sent us a product box with his jersey. So what we're going to do is do a little inspect. So he has us with a real emblem and with
dope.
a backdrop. So
damn,
if you want to get associated with the Riptide merch value, hit me in the description. But all right, so let's move on to headliners. So Astroreign, these headliners are probably going to be next in value for the 2021 season. So who we have supporting the whole venture is Acer Vantes. Acer Vantes has necessarily pioneered his way through the Midwestern scene of America. He has made sure he was at the top. He made sure he was at the top at of all live streams, all presentational value, and all I would say just like, okay, so if I'm not mistaken, he was donating to a cause.
that's
so
awesome.
Just like thing. But in addition to Acer Vantes, I'm so excited to release the unreleased. Oh my god. All right, so wait, hold on. Before we just let your fucking viewers know who the headliner is for this upcoming series, I have to get ready. It's Vile. It's Vile. So Vile has been at the forefront of a Canadian bass music, trap music, electrocution, if you will. So what Vile has done has attained the attention of the Goblins Lair, and the Goblins Lair is obviously a massive attainment from their own bass music scene. So what Vile can do for the Monsoon season nature is apply that their trap music nastiness is going to just okay, so it's going to be great. No, oh god, I'm
man.
so excited.
I'm so excited. Yeah. I can't wait. And yeah, I hope you guys listening can't wait, because this is going to be like my first public mix, actually. So yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, let's keep it going. Let's keep the movement going, because we also have Astroreign, Riptide, Ace Cervantes, and then Vile. So like, keep those people in your playlist values.
And also, like, if you're trying to sneak some more eyes on your shit, maybe DM those people and see if you can get your tracks in their mixes.
Me do that? No.
So I think we're, pretty much done with all the questions here, but I just thought of one off the top of my head, and I wanted to hit you with it before we wrap up.
Of course.
What's one thing you wish you knew when you were first starting out with the blog?
Oh fuck. Oh god. Okay, this is a very actually expandable topic. So thank you for asking me. So one thing that I wish I knew when I had started out is like, do your research. Like fuck me, do your so anybody who's like starting out at this blog, hold on, my chest is really warm. But let's start it out. So do your research, ask questions. Definitely don't be afraid to like bug your best friend. Like, hey, do you think this is like something that's presentable to like the public? Right. So like definitely like, don't be an asshat, because I see this a lot. I see that like people are just like so quick to publish a press release, or what they think is a press release. But they're like, hey, check out my new song. But like, definitely don't be so judgmental to give yourself time. Like, what we're all trying to do is give a presentable feed. So if the admissible advice that I would give is like, give yourself time. Like, don't think like your next release is hot shit, because it's not. Because it's not. If you need formats, hit us up at Monsoon Season. But definitely always give yourself time. Because like, you yourself, you're not a superhero, so add some Avenger work. That's all I have to say.
Hell yeah, give yourself time. It's no like, it's a game of endurance, not a race, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Superhero. Nobody superhero.
All right, so yeah, with those wise words, let's wrap it up. I've been your host, Astroreign. Okay? Yeah. I've been your host, Astroreign, joined by Garth Jones from Monsoon Season. Again, all the necessary links will be in the description below. Thank you so much for joining me, Garth.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, it's been a pleasure.
Hell yeah. And peace, guys. Thanks for watching.
Yay!